Welcome to another episode of Certified Oversharer. I'm your host, Samantha Busch, and today I am very excited for my guest, Kaitlyn Vincie. We have been friends since I started in the sport of NASCAR with Kyle back all the way in 2008. You will know her from being with the Fox broadcast for so many years, whether it was in studio or on pit road. But today we're going to get into the behind the scenes of racing and how that plays out with your personal relationships. I think a lot of people see from social or TV the glitz and the glam, but they don't see the grueling aspect of the sport. And so we're really going to dive deep into that today. So I'm excited to take you along. Buckle up and here we go. So I know obviously you are a jack of all trades when it comes to everything broadcasting and television.
Yeah.
From being on pit road to doing independent stuff like I saw you this weekend, podcasting. How do you balance all of this?
My career has gone through several iterations at this point. Obviously, I was in the studio for 7 years. Then I was on pit road 7 years prior to that. But once the studio shows all went away, then it was like they kind of moved everybody around and tried to figure out what role they were going to have again. So then I found myself back out, obviously, on pit road. And it definitely is an adjustment, you know, when you return to traveling all the time and trying to balance that gig is, it's tough. Like I would say it's probably one of the toughest in sports journalism. And in the studio, it's a much more controlled environment, right? Like you're not dealing with the weather and the this and a rain delay and the fumes and the heat and all the things.
The driver personalities.
The driver personalities. Yeah, we love those. So yeah, it's an interesting balance. It has been for me. And this year has been kind of cool because I've done a lot of new things, working with different clients, working with different tracks, obviously still working full-time with Fox. So I do my best to manage it, but some weeks are easier than others. Indianapolis week was crazy because I was working for 2 different entities. So I did 4 races in 3 days on pit road. And I'm telling you,
like, it was 1,000 degrees.
It was 1,000 degrees. And it's just, you're managing all those different series and names and car numbers and crew chiefs. And it's just a lot to keep up with. Like it takes a tremendous amount of focus and preparation and not allowing yourself to get overwhelmed. But that's a lot easier said than done, to be honest.
Is there any times that you can think of, whether it was in studio or pit road, that you just had like an epic, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I just did that?
Not really. There's been some things that didn't come out exactly the way I wanted, and I probably noticed it more than like a viewer would notice it. But yeah, I mean, I think it just, because I've been doing this so long now, that those moments are pretty few at this point.
So you've never had like a wardrobe malfunction or anything crazy happen?
Well, I mean, I've had different unusual things happen in the sense of like, say you're getting ready to toss to a driver interview and he doesn't show up. And so your producer's just like, hey, you're going to have to pedal here for the next couple of minutes. Just come up with something to ask your analysts. You know, things like that happen pretty regularly. I remember one time I tossed to the anthem and the guy never went. And so everyone's just standing there in like dead air. And we're just like, okay, moving on. We're not going to hear the anthem today. We're going to just keep going. So those kind of moments definitely happen, but fortunately not as many anymore. So, and I mean, pit road is just like kind of what it is.
Right. You're just hoping for the best.
You're hoping for the best. And yeah, it's just, you never know what you're going to get.
Well, and I also think the heat plays a factor. So this reminds me of the story when Kyle won Indy 2015, I think it was. Mm-hmm. Do you remember those sticky bras?
Yes.
So I had this like little green shirt on with a sticky bra and he wins. And I'm standing there and we're celebrating. I'm talking and Kyle goes,
what's going on?
Why do you have 3 boobs? And I was like, what are you talking about? And I looked down and it obviously had mine.
It had
and
migrated.
The sticky bra was here. So it was like a third hump.
That is like, horrible.
I was like,
oh my God.
What are we going to do? So I used my baby. Braxton was a baby and I put him on me. That's good. Pulled it off.
That's improvising.
And I don't even know where that bra went. We were in Victory Lane and I just went...
Yeah, it hit somebody in the face.
Best of luck.
Yeah, best of luck to that sticky bra.
So, like, did anything like that ever happen to you?
No, nothing like that. That is definitely, you take the top prize
you.
on that one.
If it's going to happen, it's going to happen to me. Like that is just, I'm for sure of that.
But yeah, like this past weekend though in Indy, it's just, you're sweating so much.
We had a sponsor pass out on our pit box.
Oh, really?
It was crazy. So we're sitting there and out of like the side of my eye, I see this guy jump up and I thought, I don't know, maybe he's going down, water, got to go to the bathroom. And all of a sudden I look at, I'm not sure if it's his wife or his girlfriend, and her head slumped over. And I was like, oh no. So I jump up because I had like a little fan and he is like shaking her and hitting her. And I'm like, oh wow, like she's out. So the guy next to me, I'm like, go down, get me, my mom's a nurse. I'm like, get me 5 ice waters and get a medic. And so he throws them up. And so like I lifted up her arm because you're supposed to put them in your armpits, behind your neck, your wrist, and your groin. And I just picked up her arm and it like fell and then she was falling. And it was like.
That is scary.
Yeah. It was.
So did she ever, like what happened?
She was out for 5 to 7 minutes. Yeah, it was big. And so we got her kind of cooled down and then the medics got there. And it was kind of funny, like typical guy. He like looked at the lady. He's like, okay, follow me down off the pit box. I'm like, sir, she's been passed out for like a very long time. Somebody's gonna have to physically
carry her down.
Yes.
There.
So it was big. Like it was so hot. I don't think people realize it's hot, but then when you take pit road, I don't know if it's just like
it's the heat from the cars, it's
and
the track surface.
Yes.
It's so much hotter.
And then people ask me because I had told somebody the story and they're like, but the pit box is in shade. But I think because they have those sides, the air is so stagnant.
It's
up
like
there.
Trapped.
Yeah.
No movement, no circulation.
Yeah.
It's such a tough job. I mean, obviously we all know because we're in this environment every single week. But like I think back to when I was in Iowa when I was pregnant with my daughter. I was 7 months pregnant and I had to work a double truck Xfinity race on pit road. Oof. It was scorching hot. You can't even wear your equipment anymore. Like a lot of people don't realize this. They had to improvise and give us like a book bag to keep all of our RF packs in because you can no longer wear it around your waist.
Right.
And so
what's the weight of that? So you're 7 months pregnant. It's 110 degrees out.
I honestly don't know what the pounds of
but
that.
Like it can't be light.
It's not light, especially if you're having to run with your pack on, which I had to do this weekend. That was super fun because my scanner took a in the middle of stage 1. So I had to book it all the way back to our Featherlight trailer to get a backup scanner. Because like you cannot do that job of pit reporting without a scanner.
I just don't think people realize how much behind the scenes goes into your job.
They have no idea.
No.
None. And it is just the amount of things you're balancing in that headset too, from you have your director, your producer, the talent on one side, and you're listening to all the teams on the other side. And everybody's talking at once. So you're going to have to figure out how to manage that. I mean, occasionally I will pull the broadcast off, like when I'm trying to decipher certain drivers. There's a couple of them that really mumble. Yeah. And I'm like, what the hell did he just say? What are they changing? What do they need to speak clearly? I need you. Clear? So you're like desperately trying to hear, you know, the communication from the team to hear what the changes are going to be and what they're fighting in the car or the truck or whatever it is. And so you have all of that going on. You typically work with a pit spotter who does assist you. They're kind of like your assistant because you can't scan all those people.
No, it'd be impossible.
It'd be impossible. So they're kind of your second set of ears and eyes to provide the information to you, which is hugely helpful. I've done races without one though, and I will say those are really hard days.
Of course, you're gonna wing it at this point.
So yeah, you have all of that going on, and just like we talked about, the elements of the job is just
miserable.
Intense. It's very intense, and I'm convinced that is not a job for everybody.
No, well, and I don't think people think about the heat. And like, I can't say anything. Like, right, we've got a motorhome, but like you guys and the pit crews and everybody that have to stay out in that heat the whole time, it is hard. Even the drivers have cool shirts. They should give you a cool shirt.
I literally said that to, I think Chris Heline. I said this to over the weekend. I was like, they need to do cool shirts for pit reporters.
Yes,
have some sort of like a system so that we could have any sort of relief. That would be smart. Maybe you should create that since you're into fashion.
I will do that.
And
that'll
collect your
but you guys
millions.
Really, right? That would be lovely. That would be nice. The backup retirement plan one day.
So yeah, maybe down the road.
That's what Brexton says. Like, granted, I know Brexton's races aren't near as long as Kyle's. Like, I get that. But at the same time, like, we've been doing the summer shootout, and one of Brexton's races before he went, they had a bunch of red flags. So he's sitting in that car baking for like 45 minutes. And he was like, I'm so hot.
It's tough, you know? And I was so excited because I saw where Iowa's going to be in the 70s this weekend, guys.
I know.
Like, that is amazing.
I will not be there, though.
Oh.
So wait, this is like the first time this has ever happened. Kyle's taking the kids.
What?
And my sorority sisters are coming in. This is the first time in 20 years.
Yeah, okay.
And they're going to come in for the weekend.
That is so fun.
Yes. And I'm going to put it out there because knock on wood, maybe if I put it out there, it'll happen. Brexton goes, watch, Dad's going to win this weekend because you're not there.
Oh, well,
and I was like, that's okay. You know what? At this point.
Yeah, I hope he wins.
I hope he wins.
But that would be a bummer if you weren't there. So he's dealing with the kids by himself?
I mean, we're sending our nanny. Like, let's
right.
not be dramatic
but
here.
still, is it the first time he's ever done that?
It's
like without you?
Like, it's the first time I won't be there. So I've already like, I've got lists and I'm like, okay.
Notes for him.
Yes. I'm literally sending him with like a notebook.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it's funny with men. The other day I said something. I said, oh, grab Lennox. She doesn't really wear bibs anymore, but she had this like really cute shirt on and we had ketchup. So I was like, grab Lennox a bib. And he goes, well, where are those? I'm like, Kyle, she's 3. They've been in the same drawer for 3 years.
Since her birth.
Yeah. And he was like, what drawer? I'm like, are we joking right now?
Well, he didn't know.
That's
but he knows now, I bet.
I mean, no. Probably doesn't retain that information.
That's funny. Yeah.
Okay. So speaking of kids, you have 2.
I do. A boy and a girl.
And how in the world do you balance your job being gone so much and 2 young children?
Again, it's changed, right? Because like, so the whole reason I came off the road initially was because I had my daughter. And, you know, Blake was traveling obviously all the time. And I was like, well, we can't both be gone. Like someone's going to have to make a sacrifice here and make a change. And I had wanted to do the studio stuff. I was very interested in that taking that step in my career. So I talked to Fox about it and I just was like, hey, you know, like I want to put my name in the hat for the studio shows. And I knew that would keep me here in Charlotte. And sure enough, they did. And I got the opportunity. So that was a little bit more simple because you weren't traveling.
Right.
But at the time we had no family here. We didn't really even have that many of my close college friends who are here now that have kids. So we had to hire people, obviously, to help. Now we have family close by.
Oh, good.
We have people we've used for years that help us. But, you know, it's always a moving logistical nightmare.
Oh, yeah.
Because
it's a juggling act.
Stuff changes all the time. You have a rain out. You have this. You have that. And so that has been probably the most stressful part of life is just making sure they're taken care of and handled when I have to be going and doing a job to help provide for them.
Right.
So it's just a massive juggling act all the time. Some weeks are simpler than others. But, you know, I do my best with it. It's definitely, you know, Krista Voda, you know, she's an amazing broadcaster. She told me, you know, I called her when I got pregnant. I was like,
what am I going to do?
What am I going to do? And she was like, just know that you are always going to feel like something is not getting 100%. She's like, because it's just impossible. You cannot give 100% to the career, to the kids, to the marriage, whatever it is, all the time. And you have to be okay with that. And I think a lot of women are not okay with that.
1,000%.
Because they're like, no, I want to make sure everything is handled
everything
perfectly.
Has to be Instagram perfect.
You know, everything has to be to the nines. And it's just not realistic.
No.
And
none of us are doing it, right? Like we're all just winging it. Just some people hide it better than others.
Some people are really good at hiding it. Yeah. So, I mean, I do my best and that's really all I can do.
That's all any of us can do.
And mine are so used to it now.
Yes.
And they will like watch me on TV and they have an understanding of like, okay, she's gone doing this, but she will be back.
Right.
And then, you know, it's nice because during the week, besides for Kevin's podcast, I don't really work a ton during the week. So I try to
be
really
very
be very present and do a lot of different things with them and make sure that they're having, you know, a good life, even though both parents are doing the circus. So, yeah.
Well, let's get into it. I don't know if everybody knows, but there is an extra kind of wrench in your scheduling and plans. And I think, you know, you've alluded to it. We've talked about it on the pilot that we did for the podcast, but you are doing this solo parenting.
I am.
Which is extra difficult.
It is. And it's been about a year now.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask.
A lot of people don't probably realize that.
So can I just tell everybody, so Blake, you guys are separated. He's a crew chief in the sport. You guys met through racing.
Yeah.
But also, I think it's fair to say that racing is ultimately what drove the wedge, because it's very hard to maintain relationships and everything. We're on the road 38 weeks out of the year.
It is. And I mean, yeah, it's crazy that the thing that brings you together can divide you in the end. Because I don't think people realize the men and women who are on road crews, this is a massive commitment for them. And I mean, I think to be successful as a crew chief, you're pretty much married to that job. Yep. You have to be, because you cannot give an inch really anywhere, right? And so it's to no fault of their own. It's just what's required of you. And I mean, it's like I have an issue with a lot of this, because the road crews, to me, make this entire thing function. Oh, they build the cars. They, load them on the haulers, drive them across the country, tech them, practice them, qualify them, race them, tech them again, take them to R&D and start all over. And they do it for 10 months and they're usually paid the least. And I don't think people understand. You understand. They are gone, not just Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, what people see on TV. They have to fly in early. They leave late. Like, they are gone most of the time. Yes. And then as somebody like Blake, who's a crew chief, when you get home, it's not like, I take Monday, Tuesday off. You're right back at the shop. You're right back at the shop. They're leaving the house before the sun comes up, and you don't really know when they're going to be done for the day, because there could be some issue. NASCAR releases a different change to the rules package or whatever, and they got to change stuff at the last second, or they find an issue with the car. Now they got to tear every car apart at the shop, because they could all have that problem now. And it's like, or it could rain or whatever it is. Basically, they are not going to be available for much of anything.
So it's really hard to maintain a relationship. And I think people might think, oh, well, you guys were on the road together, but you guys—
But we weren't.
You're not, because it's not like Kyle and I are on the road together, right? Like, I will say I will never bitch about being on the road, because I get to go with him and we have a motorhome, and it is easy. Like, people are like, oh, it must be so hard. I'm like, no. Sure, traveling, but like, compared to what you guys have to do, there is zero comparison. Like, but for you guys, especially when even when you were on the road, you're being pulled in this direction. He's being pulled in that. It's not like you guys are like, oh, we're doing date night in Indianapolis or something.
No, and you're in separate hotels. You've got separate rental cars, separate schedules, separate, everything is separate, because he's on a team and I'm with a broadcast partner, So it's not like you're doing it really together.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it's just, you don't see each other. I mean, that's what it boils down to, is you do not get to spend time.
And I think that there would have to be some— I don't want to say resentment, but difficulties too when you have children, because I know sometimes, like when Kyle's really busy, I'm like, dude, you've got to take time. Not as much with Brexton, because he takes Brexton racing a lot, but like with Lennox, I'm like, you've got to give her some time, because it's with him, it's like the racing and then the appearances and the meetings and this and that. But like, did that factor in too? Because you're like,
yeah, it's hard, because you feel like you're carrying a ton of weight in their absence, which, again, this is not their fault.
No, it's
not like they can go—
product of the job.
It's a product of the job, and it's a product of the sport, because you can't be the person that's going to be like, you know what, I'm not coming in today. Yeah. I'm taking a personal day. That does not fly. That is not going to fly.
That is what I want people to know. In racing, it's so hard. There aren't like mental health days. There aren't off days.
There's not even off weekends.
No.
Like, literally, we have one.
Exactly. Like, I don't think a lot of people realize that part. Like with other jobs, if you're sick, it's like, oh man, I'm sick, I'm not coming in.
You'd have to be on your deathbed to probably get a permission slip on that.
Yeah. I was gonna say drivers, but also like the road crew, like you said. Like you literally need to— I mean, our Randall, where was it? It was some weekend. Was it Pocono? Yeah. Severely ill. Like ended up in infield care, and then I think ended up in urgent care, coming out both ends.
Oh no.
He's not leaving.
He's
at the racetrack as much as he could. Sunday, he's like, give me a double IV and put me up on the pit box. Like, that is what—
that's their mentality.
They have to.
They have to. And it's just tough, because they sacrifice so much, and it's, there's a lot of areas in their lives that can suffer because of it. I mean, I'm so close with a lot of road crew guys. I think a lot of them are struggling. It's really a single man's job.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have a wife or a partner or kids, like, yeah, it's a cool gig. You're gone 10 months of the year. You're working on race cars. But if you have other things in life, like they all have to know they're taking a back seat.
Right.
And that's just the reality of it. And so
how did it, okay, obviously you guys met on the road, got married, had kids, all the things. How did it get to where it is now? Like, I mean, obviously you guys have been separated for a year, but how did you know? Like, was it a mutual thing? Was it a him? Was it a you? Like, how did you get to that point?
I think we both just knew it had taken such a toll, and you just are not happy, right? I mean, your ship's in the night. You're not connecting anymore. You're just, for me, I was just, I felt like I was frustrated all the time because I couldn't make plans with him. I couldn't go anywhere on a vacation with him. I couldn't go to any functions on the weekends with him. If it's a birthday, a wedding, or whatever, your RSVP is always either no or plus one. Yeah, one.
Just one.
just one. And so, we had been dealing with this probably for 3 years, honestly.
I was wondering how long it was.
Oh my, what are we doing?
Right.
Is this really working for everybody? And you never know what's going to happen. It's not like it's, out of the question. It's just right now, this is what needs to happen.
So can I ask, are you guys going through a divorce, or are you just separated and seeing where we're at?
Yes, the second.
Okay. I was like, wait, which one?
So, yeah. And I mean, gosh, I feel for so many people in this industry that are in a similar situation because you feel like you're so alone dealing with it, right? But I think a lot more people feel this way
and are dealing with it.
And one of the things too that I wish this sport offered, and maybe they do, but if they do, I don't know about it, so it hasn't been properly, presented to us, is more resources for families, family counselors, therapists, a network of childcare providers, like something to manage this schedule and these demands, because it's just a little bit unreasonable when you really think about it.
It's not really realistic to have a healthy marriage while especially two parents are living this crazy lifestyle. It's very difficult.
Well, that was the thing too. I started to look around. I'm like, I didn't see a lot of people like us, where both husband and wife had high profile, demanding careers
in the sport,
and little kids, not grown kids who are, doing their own thing. Like, they are very much in the phase of they need their parents.
How old are they?
4 and 7.
Oh yeah.
So you're in the thick of it. And so, I was like, man, I just, because I know plenty of women obviously deal with this, but for me, it just became too overwhelming.
I don't blame you.
It really was.
I honestly don't know how you would have juggled all those things.
Yeah.
So you guys made the decision to separate. How has that been for the kids?
I mean, they've been really good, and I think it's because both him and I care so much about them and making sure they're still getting the best. And him and I have an amazing relationship. A lot of people would look at that and be like, really? But we do. We speak every day. We're still great friends. I still talk to him after every race.
That's amazing.
I care so much about him, the person, It's just the other situation with, romantically, it just became not on the same page.
Right. Well, you're never home
and
together.
Again, it's not, I don't think it's anyone's fault.
Right.
I think it's just a product of the situation.
Yeah.
I really
this
do.
Lifestyle. Do you guys feel like maybe the kids are also doing so well because you guys were both so frustrated with each other because of the situation? Because I know, like, when Kyle and I are frustrated, like, you don't mean to, but the kids sometimes
they see it.
They see it, but also you're shorter with them, right? Like, I know on days that Kyle and I, you're like, just stop. Like, instead of like talking or working through things with them, your fuse is just so short.
It is.
That maybe that's been helping.
I think so, because I'm sure they're seeing both people are kind of, I don't want to say happier, because that's probably not accurate, but just there's no, bickering or arguing or whatever taking place anymore. When we see each other, it's very pleasant, it's very civil, it's very caring and loving. And, for me, it's like, he occupied such a huge part of my life. So it will always be very special to me as a person. you know.
I love that you guys are still so close. Like, you could tell that love you have for him. And it's hard. It breaks my heart knowing that probably if you guys weren't in this career, which again, no fault to the job, but it probably wouldn't be like this because you guys still have so much love.
Yeah, I think so. You know, and I hate that, but it's just part of it.
The reality of what this lifestyle is.
Yeah, and it's just, I think the general public does not understand. They see it as, oh, it's probably a glamorous life. And, oh, you know, on paper, it's like NASCAR broadcaster, crew chief. Like, that should work really well. And I mean, and it did for a long time. But with each new layer of his job, the intensity rises and the pressure rises and all of that. I mean, it just keeps adding it more and more and more. And like those guys, the reality is too, like in this sport, you're going to lose way more than you're ever going to win.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like you dedicate all this time and effort into it and you may win one race. You may win 0.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a hard thing to like wrap your mind around.
And I think it takes a toll on them mentally. Like,
it
just seeing
does.
how frustrated Kyle is, like how bad they want something. And
Yes.
And you're right. Like, they work so hard.
Yeah.
And when those results just aren't there, I mean, it does bleed over into the home life. Like, I'd be lying if I said it didn't. Right. Like,
yeah. Because, I mean,
it's their life.
It is their life. And in other sports, like if you're a decent NFL team, you'll probably win quite a few games still. But that is not how racing is. I mean, you can still be one of the best teams and somehow you may not win.
Right.
Like, depending on how stuff unfolds. And that is just, I think, very taxing on the crew chiefs and on the drivers and on the whole team.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a very unforgiving sport. And, you know, and I want to preface this by saying I love this sport. Like, I'm not trying to rag on it. It's just the inner workings of it behind the scenes are a lot tougher than people realize.
On relationships.
Relationships.
And I think that that's important to highlight. And I think you're completely right that there needs to be some additional resources. So I feel like, again, I feel like as being on the driver's side of it, we are completely spoiled, right? Like, we have we have our buses and we have the MRO, which is like our traveling church, but they also have like a little center for the kids.
Right.
We're able to bring our kids. That's why I always say, I'm like, it is not hard what we do. It's hard what you guys do. And I can see that. Now, I will say too, going back to everything, how did you feel? And I only bring this up because we were on the rough side of it. So when we were going through issues, the rumor mill, that is one thing, whether it's in the sport or online, like that I feel is, you know, people always ask me, so people have talked about me and Kyle, right? Like, oh, he's this or you're this, right? Okay, whatever. You want to call me a gold digger for 20 years? Great. Like,
thanks.
Ooh, real
Come up with
original.
something new.
Yeah. Love that. Like that, or when like, I hate your husband. Okay, cool. Good for you. That I could deal with. But when Kyle and I were going through rough times, the rumor mill within the sport, but then on social, was probably one of the hardest things I had to go through. Did you experience that as well?
Probably not like you guys did. Again, I don't think people really even were aware, but like there are definitely fans always like, where's your ring? You know, and it's like, I actually had somebody come up to me in Indianapolis and just straight up ask me. And I think that's incredibly rude. Like, I don't even know you.
Right.
Why in God's name would I ever be talking about my relationship with you?
What did you say?
I said, I'm not talking about that. I walked away. And it's like, I don't understand.
As you should. That is a boundary.
Like, I know people think they know us. You don't actually know us. We play a role in people's lives and presenting a sport to them on TV, but you don't actually know me. So
right. I
think stay out of my personal life.
That is one thing. You know, and Kyle and I will put a lot of, obviously it's called Certified Oversharer. We'll put a lot out there, but the thing I'll never put out there, people always want to know like about my kids, like about like, oh, you have a nanny, like who is it? Where do they go? What's their schedule? I'm like, I would never tell
honestly
you.
Frightening.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
That's like that's my big boundary. I'm like, you want to talk about anything else in my life. You want to know about any woman problem, marriage stuff. I will tell you my full birthing story and show you pictures. Like, but do not ask me like that stuff about my kids. Like, that's my one boundary. With
yes, it should be. Yeah. I don't even honestly post mine very often because I just don't, the whole thing doesn't sit well with me. So
at least, so when you guys were going all through this, at least most people didn't know. So you didn't have to. Yeah,
not really. And I mean, overall, I think a lot of people probably understand.
Mhm.
Like I said, I think a lot more people get it than not,
Right.
especially in the business. But yeah, the fan input, I can definitely live without that. So if you're listening, leave me alone.
Like, I love you so much, but that part of
Yeah.
my life needs.
You're not a fan of me if you're doing that. So
Well,
just-
yeah, and you need to be able to heal.
yeah, it's really not anyone's concern.
Let's be honest, some of my best stories start with, so I had a drink, and spiral from there. Which is exactly why Big Rack Spirits feels like the unofficial sponsor of every unfiltered moment on this podcast. Whether it's the East Coast Cooler, Trailblazing Tangerine, or Rosie's Pink Lemonade, they make flavored vodka that goes down easier than your latest situationship. It's all natural, super smooth, and honestly, dangerous in the best way. No fake flavors, no mixers needed. Just pour, sip, and overshare. And maybe cry, obnoxiously laugh, definitely regret saying it all out loud. But hey, at least it was entertaining. Oh, and they're not just out here making delicious chaos in a bottle. Big Rack gives back too. Military charities, breast cancer foundations, real impact with every pour. So if you're gonna tell on yourself, you might as well do it with a drink that's worth it. Must be 21 or older, please drink responsibly. So that's my next question then. Obviously, you were emotional talking about Blake. You guys, you love him.
Very much
You just
so.
know that this life isn't going to work. Like, it's right now where you guys are both at, it's not feasible. Where are you? Like, do you want to date or no? Or do you, I'm sorry, that's like, I know. You're like, oh, she just asked that.
I'm just taking it day by day. You
But like,
know?
is that something, because I'm just thinking from like a woman's side, like not having maybe that romantic side and that passion, because as you said, it was like two ships passing in the night. Like, do you crave that? Do you miss that? Like, is that something that you want? Or are you just
definitely.
like, I am so busy that is just.
It's like every day feels kind of different. Like some days obviously are better than others where I'm more receptive to things. And then other days I'm like, I'm way too busy. I don't have time to add one more layer to this. Like Indianapolis, for example, it was like, I've missed so many text messages on my phone just from friends and whoever because I was so dialed in on all the things I had to do and all the series and the races I had to manage. And in those moments, you're kind of like, I don't have time for this.
Yeah. Well, that's why I was
stuff.
wondering. I was like, would you even have time between the kids and that? And it's got to be difficult.
It is.
It's got to, I mean.
It definitely is. So I literally just kind of take it week to week, trying to figure out the normal. If that makes sense. So
what are you doing for you then to heal? And I mean, obviously I know you're working and that keeps your mind busy, but like at the core of it, if there's somebody listening out there who's maybe going through the same thing, like what are you doing to be like, okay, I'm healing, I'm loving myself, I'm going to figure out this next chapter?
I think you really need to forgive yourself too. Like if you are just struggling through these kinds of things and placing a lot of blame on yourself, that's not a smart way to go through it. Like, I think too, with him and I getting along so well, that makes it much easier. Because I just think there's so much mutual love and respect for each other after everything we've been through. So I still have put such a high, premium on him being in my life because he was so important and it still is. So I think that is helpful to get through it. I know a lot of people don't have that experience of being in a good place.
Yeah, it gets messy and ugly real quick.
But that has not been us. And I'm really freaking proud of that.
I was going to say, that's amazing. I mean, I think you guys realized the situation, but you put the kids first and you realized that like, hey, we love each other, but like right now, I mean, I think that that's very commendable. I think it would have been very easy for you guys to be like, well, this was your fault and this was your fault. And it could have gone drastically differently.
And there's some of that in the beginning, but if you care about somebody and you're mature and an adult through it, like that fades away. Like you just start to focus on, okay, what's next? How do we move forward? What do we do?
So are you doing therapy?
Oh, I have been doing that for a long time.
I love therapy.
I'm a big proponent of that. Yeah, my counselor, she's great. Good. I mean, it's just important to do those things. And there's also a level of accountability when you have someone like that in your life. If you're going through different struggles, they kind of help keep you on a time, like keep you in check with things. And I love that. And I think it's just, there's nothing wrong with seeking help in life. Nothing at all.
1,000%.
It's actually very smart to do so. Yeah, I know. It's
I
unfortunate.
feel like the stigma is more for our generation and above, but like the younger Gen Z is like, yeah, we love therapy. And I'm like, I feel like everybody should love therapy.
The Gen Zs are interesting. But yeah, it definitely does feel like for some reason, like our group, maybe it's like frowned on or it's looked at as a weakness, which I could not disagree more. I think it's actually very proactive.
Yes.
You know,
and it's nice to have a sounding board because I think sometimes, you know, you have your family and they're going to have an opinion or your friends or people have an agenda, right?
Yes.
And so having a therapist, you're like, this is just my sounding board and my outlet. And I like how you said my accountability.
Yes. And so I have been fully invested in that for many years. And I swear by it. It helps you get through the rough points. You know, I'm super grateful for my counselor. Without her, I don't know how I would have navigated some of these things.
Is there anything else that you do like to take time? I mean, there's probably not a lot of time to take for yourself, but is there
not a whole lot,
anything else that you're like, this has really helped me through this?
I think leaning into the kids, you know, it's kind of sad when a little kid has to console a grown adult. But my children are like my best little buddies, you know? And so I've just spent a ton of time with them, had a great summer with them, you know, just love on them and try to manage it the best I can. And like you mentioned, working is super helpful because you're dialed in and focused on that, and it's a nice distraction. And I love my job, you know, so that's a very easy way to kind of like
disconnect from like the harder parts in the personal life.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's important though, you know, it's probably a transition for your kids, but it sounds like they're getting that kind of one-on-one that they maybe.
Yes. I think it's actually been beneficial for both parties to have more of that time, you know?
I always say, I think a lot of us get to the point where we're like quantity over quality, but it needs to be that quality.
It needs to be the opposite.
Yep.
For sure. Like you can't just check a box and be like, well, I was home with them today.
I was in the house with them for 4 hours.
Right. But were you engaging
correct.
with them? Were you doing things with them? And that's where I think it's important to try and really focus, if you're a parent, on actually doing things with your children, not just like being in their orbit.
Right. Or being like, here's a screen, which no shame to screens. Like sometimes they are lifesavers, right?
This is true.
Sometimes they're lifesavers, especially on long flights. But yeah, I think that's one thing Kyle and I have even talked about because, you know, different, like obviously the things I do are very different and I get to travel with him, but sometimes they do add up, right? Like between the store and the foundation and this, like there's days that I'm like, I don't feel like I've done much with them. And so I try to be more present.
I feel the same way, you know, because you're juggling all these different parts of your life, right? And you don't want them to suffer through that process. Like, even though we compartmentalize it in our head, because we're like, well, we're doing this for them.
Right.
You know, you always tell yourself that, well, I'm doing this for them. Well, cool. But like, you don't want to wake up one day and realize their whole childhood passed by and you weren't there. And that was kind of my issue with the sport and the team side of it. It's like, well, you're going to miss every game. You're going to miss every moment. You're going to miss every little class graduation, like all that stuff. Like, I didn't want that.
And I think that's one thing. So my dad, and it didn't have a choice, right? But my dad worked in construction and his job took him out to different states or things for 6-9 months at a time.
Love your dad, by the way.
I know. My dad's the greatest.
He's funny.
But to this day, he always talks about it. He goes, I missed.
He had regret.
A ton of regret. And I think he's, you know, so he makes a huge effort with our kids. Like he goes to Brexton's races and he'll come over and do stuff with Lennox, whatever it is. Like he's here all the time. Yeah. And he was like, I look back now and he said, you know, financially, like we didn't have the financial freedom to be like, oh, he can't do that. Like we just didn't have that growing up.
Right.
But my dad's like, if I could have, like I would have been there for you guys more because I missed so much of it.
And you only have one shot at it.
That's
like once they grow up and they move out, like a lot of times they don't, you know, they want to do their own thing at that point in time, you know? So you really only have a finite period when they're young.
And they still like you.
They still like you. They want to be around you and do things. So yeah, I mean, like I've really leaned into that. Not that I wasn't already, but you know, it's just different now.
Yeah.
It's very different dynamic.
I know. And then they get to the point, Brexton's 10, we're starting to hit that like, I love you, behind closed doors.
But I'm too cool for you in front of everybody.
Yes. So we're
gotta love that.
It's like this fine phase. And we're also getting into the phase where like little girls are coming up to him at the track now. And I'm like, you know me. I'm like,
I don't picture you doing well with the dating.
I'm not.
I see you being like, who's this chick?
Excuse you. So my little brother is 7 years younger than me. And it would be so funny whenever he'd bring girls home. They'd be like, I'm so nervous to meet your parents. And he's like, you should be scared of my sister. She's awful.
She is awful. Yeah. I think about that too with my son. I'm like, I just don't like, I never understood it before. Like if you were dating guys, why the moms were such nutsos.
Yes.
And now I'm like, oh, that's why.
I know. And I'm like,
now I get it.
And it's funny though, with Lennox, total opposite. I'm like, yeah, girl. You know, like I feel like when she's baited, I'm like, yeah. But with Brexton, I'm like,
F this.
No, I'm sorry. No.
No.
Like these two girls, and they were so cute and so sweet, but they came over and they were like getting selfies with him, and I was like, oh. And I was like,
not
oh,
loving
hey, girls.
this.
I was being really nice. I was like, oh my gosh, like your outfit's so cute, and I was like,
get out of here.
Fuck out of here.
Kick rocks,
right?
kid.
But it's hard.
He probably will end up with like one of the other driver's daughters or something.
That's what we always laugh about. We're like, his world is racing so much that
so
I'm like,
who's he gonna meet? It's probably gonna be somebody like that.
I'm like, okay, whose sister?
But what if it's a driver you guys don't like?
Right? Though I will say Kyle in his elder years.
Elder
years.
Love that for him.
He has mellowed out. And I think like him and Brad, right? They used to have the feud, right? Mm-hmm. But now you're like, okay, they're both
He's
older.
got a pile of girls.
Yeah, they've got
so maybe
kids.
They'll link up.
I know. I'm like, who would we like to be in-laws with?
Literally, isn't that a weird thought? That is such a weird thought, right?
I know, it's odd. It gives me like anxiety thinking about that one day.
That is very strange. I'm hoping mine just don't have an interest for a while.
Well, at least that's the girls have an interest in Brexton, but still right now he doesn't quite. Mm-hmm. He's still into racing.
That's great.
But it's funny. It's always the joke. Some people will call me and be like, oh, did you hear about this in racing or this? Like meaning NASCAR. And again, because I have been in the rumor mill, I'm like, I don't want to know. I don't care. I'm in my gardening era.
Gardening
era. But I'll tell you, the tea that I will listen to is driving Brexton and his buddies somewhere when they're all talking. I'm like, radio down. Who are we talking about?
That is hilarious.
And I'm like,
the next generation of gossip, right? Like what's going on with the kiddies?
I care less what NASCAR driver's doing what, but I'm like,
that is really funny.
Who's dating who in the legend car world? Like, give me the scoop. But like, I can't
Life's changed.
Life has really changed. So, all right, I'll get wrapping up. Let's see. Sorry,
like your cards.
I'm not a professional like you.
Oh, you're great.
We should probably tell people I filmed a podcast with you before.
We had talked before.
I
think this one's better because I literally like lost my mind last time. So this is better.
You're great. So you're in your like I am a badass bitch era right now, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just doing my best. I always joke and say that phrase all the time, doing my best, because that's all you really can do.
It's all anyone's doing.
Yeah, but I mean, I do feel like I'm having a great career year. I will say that. I think that I had some apprehension about going back on pit road because it had been 7 years since I'd done it. And as I mentioned, like the two environments couldn't be more different of studio versus that. And so I was kind of like, am I still going to be good at this?
And you are. You're very good at it.
I feel like it's been really, really good. And even like working on some of the lower divisions, I find myself just like falling in love with that. The more, not grassroots is the wrong term, but even like doing all those ARCA races and stuff, like there's such good stories in those garages and like how they get to the track and they're like two people in the shop back home doing this, and it's so interesting because it's like, that's how this sport was built.
I mean, I'm in it right now with the kids.
Yeah.
And you see these parents that are traveling from Nashville to be here. The summer shootouts 10 weeks out of the year. There was some kid talked to my dad last night. He's from friggin' Alaska. His parents send him here. He lives with the race team.
This is
all
what
summer.
I mean, though. That's the stuff that's so cool to me. And I've been able to like revisit that, doing trucks and ARCA and stuff like that. And obviously I did Cup this year too, which was amazing. But I just really enjoy that part of the sport because that's where, to me, some of the coolest stories come from.
Heck yeah.
And help really like showcase what it takes to compete at this level. You know, you'd be surprised. Some people are doing it with very minimal resources.
And doing it well.
Which is,
it's cool to see.
That's interesting. Yeah.
So. Especially I think when you get to the higher levels and it's so much dependent on money and sponsorship and all that.
Engineering.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's a huge contrast from like garage to garage in this sport.
That's why I love, I mean, shout out to if you've not been to like your local dirt track or local short track, like you
get
need
there
to go.
Yes.
And I love that there's really like no rules. Like I was watching, was it maybe Bowman Gray or Hickory? And there was like people like full out brawl. Not that I'm condoning that.
Right.
But I'm like, hell yeah.
There's a lot of passion at those places. They put it on display all the time.
Or like dad fights during the kids' races. Secretly, I'm like, give me the popcorn. Like,
has Kyle gotten in a fight with another dad before?
I mean, like maybe like a little mouthy, but not like physical.
I bet everyone's scared of him.
No, I think, I mean, he was kicked out of summer shootout last year.
He was? Was that on record? Did people know that?
So I'm probably going to get the story wrong. Braxton went out there for Bando. They threw a green flag, but put out the caution lights. And so Braxton and some of the kids slowed down. Some of the other kids sped up. And so Braxton got KO'd.
Oh, no.
So Kyle went to the official and I think one of the other dads, and they were like, dude, that's not fair. You guys missed the call. You should let the kids fix their car and restart the race.
Yeah.
And they told him no.
Do not tell Kyle Busch no.
I'm pretty sure he motherfucked the official.
I'm sure well, that does suck because that's an officiating error. It was costly for
I want to say he really came unhinged. And I get it. I think any person could know when your kid is in a sport, you are like the calmest, nicest person, and then you are like completely feral in a split second. I've done it before.
Unhinged.
And so he got kicked out.
Oh no!
Of Charlotte until he had to pay a fine, and his fine was like $200. And out of principle, he would not pay it.
Oh, he did not pay it.
And so last year he sat in the grandstands.
Balance at the
and then he finally paid it so he could come back this year.
That's good. Yeah. He's an intense individual. I think I told you last time, or I told him this actually, that I would rather interview a serial killer than him when he's mad. Yeah. Because like, God, he used to scare the shit out of me. Like when I was first starting out and if he was mad.
He was scary back then.
He was so scary. And they'd be like, you got to go get Kyle. I'm like, no, someone anybody else do it. I don't want to do it. Like anytime I got that,
did you guys like pull straws from the producer? I'd be like, Kyle.
And sometimes I'd be like, he's not down here anymore, which
Sorry,
was a lie.
He disappeared.
Like, I don't know where he went.
Well, and that's one thing. I mean, I will say, Kyle, he did have a temper back in the day. Like, we cannot deny that.
Ask the wrong thing because he's very receptive if you ask the right question.
Yes, he doesn't want to be asked a dumb question.
If you frame it up in a bad way, like that is not going to elicit a good response from him. So he actually never gave me a bad interview.
Because you asked good questions.
I mean, I kind of had figured out how to manage him, in like those situations. And I get it. Like they're frustrated. Right. Whatever has happened is probably, maybe it was a, race ending issue or day or whatever it is. And so I get it. Like they're full of like passion and frustration in those moments. And you got to immediately have a microphone in your face. Like,
I don't know how they do that.
Ideal. I know. I would struggle with that too. But so I'm not blaming him for having the scary side.
Yes, that is one thing. I mean, he is mellow. I think you learn though. At the same time, I tell people, I'm like, he came into the sport at 16. Yeah. And he came into the sport too before social media, before like all the things that are now, right? There wasn't media coaches. There wasn't
like those different resources.
Examples were like Tony Stewart and Dale Earnhardt, and you're like, well,
those were their people they looked up to. Yeah.
If they can do it, I can do it. And so I think now the caliber of kids that come in, like they watch these drivers that have the poise and they do the good interviews.
Yes.
And, I mean, I'm not going to lie, and maybe fans out there feel the same way. I wish it didn't have to be so vanilla sometimes.
Yeah.
I enjoyed
Uh-huh.
like when Tony freaking threw a helmet at somebody at Bristol, or like when Kyle and Kevin got in a car fight. Like I know that's not what we're supposed to want for, but damn, it made for some excitement.
It did. I think there's a balance, right? Like they can still show the passion and show the personality without like starting huge, giant like fights on pit road or something. But yeah, I think all of that makes it more interesting. That's why your husband was such a like polarizing figure, right? Because he had both sides that he would demonstrate.
Yes.
You know?
But I was like, I mean, you wouldn't. I'm secretly kind of hoping that if like Brexton and Keelan and Owen and like
that'll be interesting.
Wyatt Miller, if they're all like,
I know.
Here, let's go old school NASCAR.
On everybody.
Right?
Yeah, that would be, it's going to be interesting to see that generation as they grow up and like start to enter the top tiers of NASCAR and like how they go about it versus how their dads did.
And I think really at the end of the day, if it comes down to it, what we've all learned is it's sponsors, right? It's sponsors and social. So you can't do those things because people are going to go to your sponsor and be like, that was ridiculous and we hate him and they can't do that. And so then you can't do that. But you're like, can you stop being a Karen? Because it's kind of entertaining.
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. That's where it's like there's a way to do both and still appease the sponsors.
So I love the short tracks and the dads are like going at it. And you're like, oh, kids, don't do that. Like, yes, get it.
Exactly. It's awesome. That's why we keep driving home the point to go to your short tracks and witness this.
There was a mom fight at the Tulsa shootout.
A mom fight?
A mom fight. Wait,
How
actually,
does that go
I have to
down?
tell this real quick. There's been 2 mom fights in my time. So the first mom fight was Millbridge takes one night out of the year, they go to the fairground. Okay. And the cadets is like the very youngest. So they're like 5 and 6.
Uh-huh.
Let's just preface that. They're 5 and 6. And so one cadet wrecked the other cadet. Granted, they're 5. They have no idea what they're doing. So one of the moms goes up and kicks the other kid's car.
What? Oh my.
So the
very mature
mom of the kid whose car got kicked.
That's wild.
Got in her face. So then they start like
ripping each other's weaves out or something?
Basically, like they're going at it. So it's the fairgrounds. So the police come and they made them take a timeout in their haulers.
A timeout. Grown adults getting a timeout. That's where we're at.
And it was epic. But then at the Tulsa
funny.
shootout, that got wild. So up top, I don't know what you call it. You probably know the real name. It's like where they do the staging.
Mm-hmm.
So that's also where they come up off after. And so granted, this was for the Golden Driller. This is the big race. And so I guess one kid got into the other kid. He fell back some spots, whatever it was. Oh, Lucas, you're here. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Yeah, kind of.
And so they go up to the grid. So was it the dad? The dad started yelling at the dad of the car who got wrecked. Started yelling at the kid who did it.
Okay.
So the mom of the kid who was getting yelled at starts yelling at the dad, which I would have too. Like, don't you yell at my kid.
Don't you yell at, no, that's not appropriate.
Like, go yell at the dad. Don't yell at the kid. So then the mom with the dad who was yelling comes in and full out, both parents start fighting. Physically fighting.
Oh, physical fight.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my.
I was
That's
like,
ridiculous.
So we go back and they were parked next to us. And
this
remember
could be
he had a black eye.
Show.
And then the mom was crying. And I was like, we missed all of it because luckily Brexton had finally gotten his Golden Driller. He was so excited. So we missed all of it. We come back to the trailer and I'm like,
what is going on?
Why got black eye? Yeah. What happened? And people are crying and they're like, you missed the fight. And so instantly I was like,
that is so
is
funny.
it on social? I would really like to see that.
I mean, that could be a reality show.
Right?
They could be like race moms, like those crazy pageant mom ladies.
I did get in a fight with a dad one time.
You did get in a fight with a dad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like a physical
fight?
No, okay. I was going to say, I don't see you doing that.
No, he was accusing Brexton. So it started out, I was in the grandstands and I don't know what happened. And
I don't know what happened.
No, like I wasn't saying anything. I mean, I don't know what happened, like if Brexton had won or something had happened. But he basically walked by and very loudly to the grandstands insinuated that we were cheating. And I was like, I'm not going to say anything. Just I had my sunnies on. I was like, ignore it. So then he did it a second time.
Oh, geez.
So then we go to the tech area and he does the thing like you can pay basically, what's it called?
You can pay have them tear down the car.
Yeah, you could. So another parent can pay to have another kid's car torn
What?
down.
I never knew this interesting rule.
So,
what if they had that in Cup?
Right?
Yeah, that would be wild.
So they tear down Brexton's car the first day. Same thing happens on the second day. Now he's kind of talking shit about us throughout the pits. So like the moms are coming to tell me. And I'm like, okay, because Kyle's in Daytona. So I'm like handling this myself. So then the second day, he tears it down again. So by the third day, he tears down our car. I'm standing in tech. And now I'm like,
this
pissed.
is getting, out of hand.
So I had let Brexton change because it took like 2 hours to tear down the car. It's like 100 degrees. I'm like, go put on your stuff. So he proceeds to loudly say that we had put lead in Brexton's fire suit. I went and got that fire suit and turned it inside out and pitched it at him and was like,
take a look for yourself.
Look yourself. And I'm yelling. And then our car was not cheated, so it was legal. Mm-hmm. So then we get that money. I made him hand me the money.
Oh, that's amazing.
And I was like, yeah. And I was very mad.
Do you think people are like that more with you guys because of who you are?
No, honestly, we get along with everybody at the tracks. And now it's funny, we actually get along with that family. Mm-hmm. I think it was just like,
oh, good.
A slight dick measuring contest. If
yeah,
I'm being
it sounds
honest.
like it was indeed.
But it's funny.
You ended up having the biggest of everyone.
I did. And I bought all the kids ice cream with that money. I was like, Kyle called from Daytona. He's like, I'm getting texts that you got in a fight in tech. And I was like, it's not a fight. It was verbal, and I'm buying the kids ice cream with the money that is
all is
mine.
Well over here.
Yes,
Don't worry,
and now
Kyle.
we're nice. But no, honestly, it's funny. A lot of people ask that, like, oh, does it bother Kyle when people come up to him? I feel like Kyle and I, especially, like families, it's the same for families in NASCAR. Like when you are in the world, you get it. And so we've become very close with a lot of other families in kind of the grassroots world because we dedicate our lives to our kids' sports.
Right.
And so it's actually really cool. Like there's this family, their name's Thrasher. They're out of Nashville. And like Brex and him were working together. And like, we're like, hey, if you need to use our shop for something, they're like, hey, if you want to come out to Nashville. Awesome. Or like Brex was just in Oklahoma when we were in, where were we just? Indy. Sorry. When we were in Indy. And like another mom was like, hey, I'm here with the boys. And she's like sending me pictures. And I do the same when we're there. So yeah.
That's good. I'm glad you're having that experience.
We love it. Yeah. No, people are really, really great.
I think it's amazing too, like the full circle. Like I see this obviously with Harvick, what these big stars are putting back into the sport, even with just their kids doing it and them periodically racing too in different series. That's just so neat to me. It's just, there's another level of dedication, I think, to promoting the sport when guys like Kyle and Kevin, and they do these things,
And I love it because like a lot of the teenage drivers, right? Like they'll come up to Kyle at the track and ask him questions or like they feel that comfort level. And I'm sure they do the same with Kevin. And I know they've done the same with Larson. And I think it's just cool. You have these guys who have, won championships at the highest level. And now these kids
get to learn or
just be like, hey, coming off a 3, like, what about this? What about that? And just be able to have that access to them. It's pretty cool.
That's how, in the truck series, whenever Kyle came down, it was a big deal, for all those series regulars, because now they were going to get to pick his brain and learn from him and watch him on track and like see what he does. And it seems like he was always so receptive to the younger talent and helping them. And
that's one thing he really likes, like is mentoring a little bit, like the younger kids. I think he appreciates that he's like, okay, I've made my mark in the sport, that now these kids trust to come to me for advice. You know what I mean?
It's like when people rag on your husband, it just drives me crazy because it's also like, do you guys remember all the talent that are here because of him and Kyle Busch Motorsports?
There's a lot of drivers out on the track.
And like that wouldn't have been there without you guys. And I think it's just like, again, investing back in the sport, investing in growing it. That's all of that is connected.
I know. I wish there's days that we talk about that we wish we still had KBM. And I'm sure Kevin and Delana do the same. But it was hard. It was hard managing everything, and especially with Brexton doing so much.
Yeah, you kind of have to at some point make some decisions.
Right.
Like something's got to give.
Right. Well, yeah.
So
I think that's been part of
I love that I was able to witness the KBM days though, and all the talent that came through there and everything that you and Kyle did for that series for trucks.
It was fun.
Yeah, it's
It
cool.
was fun. I'm excited. Hopefully, knocking on wood, one day Brexton's there. That's the
I
goal.
know. I hope I'm still here. Reporting his first race.
I literally am going to go to NASCAR and be like, he's sick for Daytona and Talladega. He's not available. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he will not be competing in those events.
No, thank you. Hard
God,
pass
what
for
do you
mom.
Like, I'm curious what the nerves are compared to your husband versus your child watching race.
I will be fully medicated when Brexton runs Daytona.
Fully medicated. Good.
Fully medicated. Like, I am going to walk out there like on Valium. It will. I'll be just sitting there
like zoned out.
Good job.
Yeah, good job, everybody.
Way to go,
Good
team. Take a little nap in between.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting for you. Like, you've done it for so long, obviously, as a wife, and now it'll be potentially wife and mom.
Oh, I mean, you should have
time.
seen at the Tulsa shootout for the driller. So we're in the grandstands and some poor guy next to me, like literally he's just a fan, not a parent. And some of the other parents are there. This poor man who I didn't know during the Tulsa shootout, every 2 seconds, I'm like grabbing his arm. I'm like holding on for dear life. No idea who this man is. I was like, I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry.
It's like a reaction that I can't help.
There's a security blanket here.
I'm like shaking, fidgeting. And this poor guy was like, I'm so sorry you're sitting next to me.
We loved the Samantha Busch cam at Fox.
Oh.
You were very popular.
Yeah.
Pit box shot.
I take after Kim.
Yeah, there's
Take
a few.
after Kim
You,
Burton.
Morgan Bell's really interesting to watch too. Like, there's a few.
The one time you guys got me saying on camera and I got in big trouble. So
You did? I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Was our race?
Maybe. I will never forget this. So Carl wrecked Kyle coming to the checkered for the win.
What
And
racetrack was this?
Richmond. Pretty sure it was Richmond.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but I know it was Carl who wrecked Kyle. And we were teammates then. And they had that cam on. And I was like,
Oh,
and then I got an email from JGR.
Oh,
and I
no.
was like, oops,
That's
sorry.
that sucks for you
Yes.
because it's like, obviously you're reacting. In the
I'm
moment.
Italian. Okay.
And you probably didn't know the camera was on you.
No, I was
so-
like, I'm like, when you're watching, like, you're
I think that's funny.
watching. I was like, well, I mean, oops.
do people listen to the scanners with the drivers?
Okay,
say?
I'm sorry. I know we have to wrap up. This is my last thing. It drives me insane when people are like, they shouldn't be swearing on the scanners. Are you joking?
Are you
like,
joking? That's never going to happen.
No.
By the way, they will forever be doing that.
I know. And then people always say,
part of
like,
it.
you're a Christian, you have a potty mouth. I know. I am trying to get better. Like, I am trying, but it's just
Doing my best.
I'm
right?
just doing my best. Like, it just comes out. I don't mean to.
I mean, you're basically those scanners is a private conversation that people just have the luxury of being able to listen to.
Right.
Because it's, the team communications. Like, there's going to be things that are said.
And I don't know. I'm the type of parent, look, like, if a kid's left out, you make sure they're included. If an adult says something, you're going to answer with respect. If you say, I don't really care. Like,
no, I don't.
Not my
either.
highest priority.
Yeah, not mine either.
I know.
As we've seen on this show today.
So I think we're just gonna wrap it with we are all just doing our best.
Yeah, we're doing our best.
We're doing our best.
Right here.
And that's all we got.
Well, thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on. This was great. Thank you guys so much for listening today. Please be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Samantha Busch. Leave me 1,000 comments and 5-star reviews. That'd be super helpful. And be sure to follow us along on social media at Cert Oversharer, where you can get a lot of behind the scenes looks at everything that goes on in studio. Thank you guys so much for listening, commenting, loving it. It has been so much fun, and I can't wait till the next episode.